Hi, this is Brandon Splay from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about how to pin press. So the pin press or the bench press from pins, depending upon really what you want to call it, is a fantastic way to develop starting strength for the bench press. So you're clearly going to need some kind of rack that you can set pins up at or in the position that you want. Without pins, you're not going to be able to do this. So let's briefly describe what's the difference between a pin press and a bench press to pins. Okay, so the pin press, the weight starts on the pin. I cannot stress that enough. The weight starts on the pin because lowering the barbell to the pin, so a bench press to pins, is actually going to still load the musculature on the way down. It's briefly going to touch the pins. It should come to a complete stop, and then you're going to go. However, because the musculature associated with the bench press, pecs, shoulders, triceps, get an eccentric load, they still store some energy, so you have to let it sit on that pin for an exorbitant amount of time before you lost your stretch shortening cycle to be able to press it again. So that's why the pin press works tremendously better. Is one, it's concentric only. So if you happen to want to phase that into a triphasic training, or you're really just trying to work on starting strength and that's it, no eccentric load, then you definitely want a pin press. If you want to bench press to pins, then you're going to be wanting to do a different exercise. And in my opinion, I think you're probably better off actually doing a board press than a bench press to pins, merely for the fact that I think it's going to replicate more of your actual bench press in just the way that it feels. I don't really like the way going down into pins feels. Also, if you do it for a prolonged period of time, all that rattling into the pins is going to go to the bar, and that could actually end up aggravating your joints, your elbows, your wrists, your shoulders if you do it too much, too often. The pin press, the great thing is, this technically should not stress you that much. Your pin press numbers, if the pins are set right around chest level, are probably going to be less than your actual bench press. Again, because you're not getting the eccentric or the lowering portion of the exercise before you do it. The tendons like that stretching, because as they stretch, as soon as you touch and you go again, they're going to shorten it, and you're going to use that kinetic energy to help you throughout the range of motion. Pin press, you can't do that. So hopefully that's kind of covered a little bit of the science that I've kind of rambled on about it. But the pin press is also great because you're probably going to do reps that are on the low side. You're not going to be doing 10 reps of a pin press. It really makes no sense. You're trying to work on starting strength, so try to train a little bit heavier for this particular exercise. I personally have the pin set up a little bit off my chest. For most raw bench pressers or competitive powerlifters, that's probably where you need to be working. It's probably in this area, probably between 3.5 inches or less off of your chest. Anything higher, you're primarily working only triceps, which it can be okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're probably not going to get as much work. If you're a equipped bencher, then you probably will find that your pin setting is probably up a little bit higher compared to the raw person, just for if you're trying to overload your triceps specifically for your bench shirt. That's a discussion for another day. But like I said, that's where I have these pins set. But just know that you can set the pins anywhere you might need to set the pin setting for you and your particular training. My suggestion when it comes to setting your pins is don't look at where you miss the weight. So, if you miss the weight right here, we'll say it's 4 inches off the chest, don't set the pins at 4 inches. That's where you missed. That's not where you slowed down. What I think you need to do is set them about an inch lower than where you miss. That way you can work on generating force through the area where the bar actually stopped, because it stopped there doesn't mean that's where it actually is your sticking point. Your sticking point is probably a little bit lower than where it actually stopped, and that's why I think an inch is a good place. So if you're constantly getting stapled on your chest, you just need to get stronger more than likely. But if you are missing, 3-4 inches off the chest, you probably need to work a little bit closer to the chest and work on being able to push through the area that you're missing, where the pin press comes into play. So, enough rambling. I'll show you how to do this. You're going to get in your regular bench press position, and if you've got a good bench press, you should be able to roll the bar in and out so you're not having to crawl under it all the time. And I would recommend then getting in your position and then rolling the barbell down to where you need. Okay? So once I've got the bar where I need it, I put my hands in my bench position, I get set. As you can tell, the bar is very, very close to my chest. It's not far away. And then before I go to take the rep, I want to pretty much get my shoulder blades set, leg drive already established, everything ready to go. Then I'm going to take my big breath of air in, create all that pressure, and then I'm going to push through my legs, my arms, and drive as much force as I can into the barbell to come off the pin. So here, let it come back down, reorient it where it needs to be, breath. One more time, here. There. Okay? Now, one more thing that I'll say, if you pin press heavy, you will quickly learn where the bar needs to be in the perfect path for you to get the exercise. So let's say this is my, my 1 rep max, so to speak, and I go to press, and I can't get it off. But the bar, I slowly move it, let's say up or down, according where it's at. I slowly move it down, I press again, and it starts to go. Then I know that if I'm touching higher in my normal bench training, that I might need to work on touching lower, or vice versa, so you can get some positional feedback from this exercise as well. The other final piece that I really like about this exercise is it teaches you to push yourself into the bench and push yourself away from the bar. So you don't want to think about pushing up this way into the bar and protracting it away from you. You want to think about pushing yourself into the bench and pushing the bar away from you as you bench press. So the pin press provides you that external cue and feedback of how to do that better. So if you notice that somebody is like really benching and they're really trying to like push the bar away from them as they press, implementing a pin press can be fantastic for giving them that feedback of how to apply themselves into the bench to move the bar. So that is the pin press. A lot of information thrown at you. I do think when it's implemented and programmed properly, I think is a fantastic way to improve your bench press. I do think that it really comes down to a programming thing more than anything. Anybody can get underneath a pin press and go. I think the 3 main things you're going to want to take out of this video or out of a pin press is 1, understand the difference between a pin press and a benching to pins. They are 2 entirely different exercises. The second one is making sure that your pins are set at a height that you need them for. Again, going back to the fact that you want the pin set below your actual sticking point so you can work on pressing through the sticking point that you currently already have. And then the third thing is making sure that you're getting that positional feedback of how to move the bar, but also where the bar is lined up with your body. If you happen to be one of those people that's really inconsistent with how you are touching the bar when it comes down to your chest, this will help you iron out about where you should be, because you're going to quickly find out where you are strong and where you aren't strong if the bar is too high or too low in relative position of your chest when it comes to pressing the weight. So that is the pin press. I've rambled on long enough. The programming side, though, keep it more down to like 1 to 5 reps, probably 3 to 6 sets, and then set your pins at the position that you need. So that's all I've got. If you got any questions about this long-ass video, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.